we are going to look for a topic called as cellular telephony from the networks. Let's begin. Before moving on, let's understand and also revise few notations which we already know related to the frequency band. As we know, that is our radio frequency bands starts from our ELF, that is extremely low frequency, which starts from kilohertz, that is 3 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz, till we have our extremely high frequency, that is from 30 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. According to that, the wavelength is also considered. In our communication ranges, we use the frequency from high frequencies, very high frequencies, and also since we are living in our 5G, that is the satellite communication with respect to wireless fidelity, Wi-Fi and all, we also use extremely high frequencies. This is what we need to know to understand the further. I'll give you an insight about what all the things are going to follow us in cellular telephony. Before that, let's understand a few notations which are going to be used further. Those are called as mobile station, BSC, that is base station controller, and network system. What are these? Let's understand it one by one. Now, as you can see the title, it is the GSM network, that is Global System for Mobile Network, that is for mobile units. When we talk about the word mobile, it says it is going to move, that is it is going to have change the place, right? Let's understand why we need a network which needs to be very much strong from the mobile unit. That is mobile unit. Why we are talking about mobile unit? Because it is going to change its place very often and it expects the same strong network everywhere and always, right? So this is what is the basic idea behind this GSM. What are the main elements in GSM? As we explained now, that is, it was mobile station. What does a mobile station have? Now, as in our day-to-day life, we use mobile phones, right? So in mobile phones, what are the essential parts? One is the SIM card, okay, which is going to have the information, that is the identity information, right? Subscriber identity information, which we call. Okay. Next, mobile station consists of a SIM card or mobile devices, right? Okay, which is going to be considered. And base station controller have the BSCs, that is base station controllers has base transceiver stations, okay, and further the controllers, that is base station controllers, and then we have a network system where we have mobile service switching center, fixed line telephone networks. What are these? Let's understand one by one. First, in general, what is the expectation from this particular picture is mobile station always requires strong network. Mobile station always requires a strong network. That means the mobile station, when it is changing its place everywhere, it requires a strong connection. To provide the strong connection, we have these network subsystem, that is the mobile service switching center. We have the base station controller. This unit entirely adds on with the required processing. Okay, so let's move on. One more thing which we are aware, okay, and about is basically the technology which we use from 1G, right? Now we are in the era of 4G and heading towards 5G, right? This is a comparison diagram. This is a comparison table where we could see various generations, okay, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G with respect to the different features, okay. When it was deployed, the bandwidth, the technology, services, multiplexing techniques, switching techniques, and core network. Here, we need to concentrate on these two can see the technology. Now, as I told you, that is, we are looking forward with cellular technology, right? So when the technology was with respect to one generation, it was the analog cellular technology. Gradually, it moved had towards the digital medium. So we had digital cellular technology, CDMA, Wi-Fi, WiMAX, and the further which are coming. With respect to the various technology, it has served accordingly the various services. When 1G, it was only the voice communication which was able to happen through mobile phone. This was a service which was provided by the network. Gradually, in 2G, it was voice, SMS, as well as higher capacity data transmission also was possible. Further, it also added video as well as data along with the voice and the SMS services. Dynamic information access and the wearable devices, that is, we have smart watches, right? So those also require the same technology which we are heading towards since we are living in the 4G. Okay. Further, we are looking forward with the further that is the maximum progress towards the same technology. Now, so far we have spoken about multiple times the technology, cellular technology. What exactly is a cellular technology? Let's understand by the name first. When we talk about cellular technology, basically when we talk about the technology which has been used in the form of cell, what does the cell mean? Okay, the very first thing assigns with respect to the shape of the cell, the transmission of the cell, and how the transmission. Let's understand it one by one. Okay. Now, when we talk about a cellular technology, if you can see in this particular diagram, okay, we have a cell. This is a cell. Okay, this is the shape of the cell. This is the entire single cell. This cell, if you can see, it is connected to the mobile switching center, which we saw earlier also in the GSM diagram, which is further connected to the telephone network. Precisely, it is provided with respect to the public switch telephone network, which is termed as PSTN, which is being connected to a stationary phone, right? Now let's understand this diagram. Since we concentrated from the cell to till the phone, now let's understand how the technology is being used. Now, suppose we want to connect a phone. This is a stationary phone, or you can call it as a landline phone. If I want to connect a call, okay, to a person who is, let's say, traveling. Okay, so but since he is traveling, so he is about to change his place, right? So it is a mobile unit. Okay, now if you can see in this particular cell, we have a BS, which is termed as a base station. We have multiple MS, that is mobile station. So if you can see this, what are these? These are mobile phones, right? So base station as well as mobile. Now this single cell have one base station. This base station will do the work of transmitting and receiving the signals, okay, and then providing the signal, that is the network, to the various mobile stations who are there in the area of this respective cell. Okay, now how the particular call which has been made from this unit will reach here. This is the work which has been carried out by this network. That is the one is the PSTN along with the mobile switching network. Okay, now this is not the only one cell which will work. Definitely not, because this technology is being covering the entire game. So we have multiple cells which are connected, right? So if you can see this, these switching centers, mobile stations, that is PSTN. So we are also connected with the another cells. Okay. So far, we have learned about what is a cell, how a call can be connected to a mobile station within that particular sense with the help of MSC and PSC. And let's understand it with a defined statement. Cellular telephony is designed to provide communication between two moving units called as mobile stations, which is MS, or between one mobile unit and one stationary unit, which can be also termed as land unit. The service provider must be able to locate, track the call, assign a particular channel to the call, and transfer the channel from one base station to the another base station as the caller moves out of range. This is the expectation of this technology which needs to be served. Let's understand how it happens. Thinking about the broader aspect, the same diagram which can be elaborated with respect to the landline phone, the same PSTN network mobile switching center connected with the base station of the cell and a mobile unit. So this base station is going to help this mobile unit to serve the network for this calling data and okay. Similarly, if this mobile station wants to make a call, this base station is going to help this mobile station to get connected to the another network or to the another cells or another. I suppose for this example, you can take this as landline. This is what has been explained, which we are talking about now. This each cell is having a certain what you can say, each cell have its own transmitter and receiver, that is a base station. Okay, so if you can see this, multiple cells are being joined together, right? Now, as you know, the communication happens through frequency band, right? Through a certain frequency allows the communication to happen, that is the voice to be carried out, and that is the main idea behind the like cell which can use the certain frequency. Now, we have understood about the cellular telephony. Now let's understand how the telephony how this particular technology works. Now, if you can see, as we explained earlier, as we discussed earlier, related to the frequency reuse, right? So we saw that there is a limited spectrum which has been allocated for communication. So since it is a limited spectrum, we have to reuse that limited spectrum in a intelligent way so that there will be no wastage as well as that can be efficiently used. Let's understand how it can be used. So due to this, there is a factor which is called as the frequency reuse factor, which is being used in this cellular telephone. Now let's understand what is this frequency reuse factor. Now let's say we have to cover a single area. Okay, we have to cover a single area. Now this single area to provide signal, definitely, that is the network. This area is being divided into multiple cells. These multiple cells will have its own frequency. Okay, now since the frequency is limited, the frequency which is being used here needs to be also reused here, right? Also reused here. Now this multiplication factor or the reusing factor of the frequency will be only considered with respect to how efficiently the frequency can be used. Now, if we say this is one region, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the 4 cells which have been considered. Next, the same frequencies are being further reused. If you can see the next, the neighboring one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again the same, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we can observe one thing here is basically when we wanted to reuse the frequency, we cannot take the same frequencies as neighboring. Okay, if we see this one, suppose here there is one frequency which is used, we cannot have one immediately here just because of the same frequency can have more interference, right? So we should not consider in that way. Okay, if we have now in this particular diagram, this area is being divided into multiple cells, and then the frequency reuse factor is considered as 4 here. So we have 4 cells which are using a set of frequency. The same set of frequencies are again reused in that area in multiple ways, right? Only the thing is we need to ensure that there should not be the same frequencies as the neighboring one, right? Okay. Next is, now we have a certain reuse factor which is termed as n, right? Now here we have the reuse factor as 4 because 4 frequencies are being used. Okay, that has been divided into 4 cells. Here we have the reuse factor as 7. So if we can see this, suppose in this gray shade, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is one division of the cell of that particular area. The same frequencies are going to be reused here. The same frequencies are going to be reused here. Now, what this helps is to efficiently use the available frequencies so that we can also efficiently use as well as provide the network in a better way. All right. With respect to this is basically also termed as reusing the cell. Now, what happens when a particular call is being initiated? Okay, now suppose I wanted to call, okay, from one mobile station. How I will just enter a particular phone number or the code in the sense the phone number. Initially, it was 7-bit. Now it is 10 digits. That is this 10 bits, 10 digits number. Okay, and then we click on OK or the send option. So when we click on that send button, the frequency which is being used by the mobile phones, that is from the mobile station basically, okay, to be more precise, that will scan the respective band which is being set for the number which you have dialed. Okay, and who is helping your MSC and PSTN will be helping. According to that, a strong channel will be set up, okay, which will be used to send the data to the nearby base station. That is nearby in the sense the base station probably it takes the base station where you are in that respective cell. Okay, if you are nearby, then the base station will also send the data to the respective MSC. MSC will further look forward with the called number, okay, and then it will send the data to the respective telephone central office of that respective number. If that particular called party is not busy or is clearly available, then it allows you to set up a connection. Okay, so once the called party is available, the connection can be set up and can be set up. So during that, the MSC will assign the unused channel which is available. Okay, the unused voice channel which is available, and then the certain connection will be established. Once the connection is established, the mobile station automatically it will tune to that respective new channel which has been assigned, and then the communication can start or begin. Now this was about the calling party or the transmitters. What happens when we receive a call? Okay, when the mobile phone is when we receive a call or it is being called by someone. Okay, so the central office, okay, sends that particular number to the MSC. MSC also starts searching to that respective mobile station by sending certain signals, that is, those are termed as the query signals, okay, to each cell which is in that particular process. This is called as page. Okay, why it is doing so? So that it can get the respective base station from where that particular number is present. Now, once the mobile station has been found, that is the respective number has been found, then the MSC will transmit the ringing signal. Okay, so that that respective mobile station will also get to understand, and also it will answer respectively with respect to the voice channel for that call, and then allow the entire voice communication to begin. Now, this is what it happens with respect to the calling and the called party, or the transmitting or the receiving. Okay. Now, in this process, what happens is, since this is a mobile unit, there is a change in place. So we have the frequent changes from one cell to another. As I told you, that is, this is a particular cell, okay, and it is having its own base station. This is a particular cell, it is having its own base station. Suppose, let's say, a person who is in this cell, okay, he is talking, that is, he is on the call, and when he is moving, he is passing from this first cell to, let's say, seventh cell, because we as humans, when we use this network, we are not aware that in exactly which cell we are, right? Okay, so we pass to the next cell, let's say in the seventh cell. So now, since the strength of the signal from this base station, the one base station will get very weakened, okay, for our mobile station, and accordingly, this the base station which is serving this seventh cell, okay, also will give the signal to that respective mobile station who is coming in his zone. Okay, this procedure is called as handoff. Okay, this procedure is called as handoff. Let's understand it with a defined statement. This can help during a conversation, that is, during a communication. The mobile station, which can move from one cell to another. When it does, the signal may become weak. Okay. Now, this also, the care has been taken by MSC, as it takes the major responsibility and it handles this particular situation. How it handles? It continuously tracks the strength of the signal. Okay, since it allocates a voice channel, as we just saw in transmitting, it allocates a voice channel, then it continuously checks that whether the signal which is required is, that is, whether the signal which is required in the required amount has been served or not, okay, in that respective cell. If not, then it will start looking forward with the nearby base stations or the nearby cells, okay, base stations, who will serve that particular mobile station, so that though the signal from one cell is becoming weak, but still it is handing the another base station signal which is stronger. Okay, so this responsibility is taken by MS. In this situation, it is categorized into two. One is called as the handoff, that is hard handoff, and the other is called as a smart handoff. Now, this hard handoff situation used to earlier happen when there was the process from which was when carried out, that is, when the person which is in one mobile station, cell, okay, if he is moving to the another base station or the another cell, then the first mobile station has to break the communication, and then the next base station where he enters, again it should create the new connection, and then the call will be in process. Whereas now the things have progressed further. So here we have the soft handoffs, where the person who travels from one cell to another cell, okay, if the previous base station's signal gets low, automatically the new or the neighboring base station in that respective area, okay, they will start giving the network or the signal, and then the call of that particular mobile station will be in process without getting break off. Okay, so this is basically called as. There is another concept here related, which is called as roaming, which we are also aware, right? Now, roaming is the concept where that particular user have to access to the communication. That is, if he is not getting the network of the respective service provider, right? So there are service provider which has their own coverage, right? So if you enter from the if you enter in an unknown area where there is no services which are provided by your service provider, then the service provider, whoever is available there, will can also give you the extended coverages, okay, through a certain roaming contract. Now this used to happen earlier, now it is very much smooth functioning. We don't have to pay extra for roaming, right? So this was about the cellular technology, right? So these are the various things which are given with respect to the cellular technology and the cellular system. So if we club the respective things, so the entire globe can be covered with respect to multiple cells. The cell size can also vary. Definitely, the reuse factor can also vary, right? The reuse of the radio channels can also happen in this cellular technology. Okay, so maximum area can be covered by the reusing factor. Okay, this is now let's talk about the shape of the cell. Now we have two elements here which can be considered. Now since we have two elements here, okay, with respect to the shape, we have one is the square shape and one is the hexagonal shape. Now if we think about a circle, okay, a circle shape, now if we connect multiple circles together, you will find a blank region which can be left, right? So this was the bad idea with respect to the shape. So we came with respect to the two shapes, one was the square and the other was the hexagon. Probably with respect to the square also, the distance was been covered, but the better distance was covered with respect to the hexagonal coverage. So ultimately, the hexagonal shape was been considered for this cellular telephony or the cellular system, which gave the maximum coverage, which also by using the reusing factor, many problems were solved and the entire globe can be covered easily. This was the idea behind the shape of the cell, which was considered as hexagon. Okay, so far we studied about the cellular telephony, why the cellular telephony is being considered for mobile communication. So now if we wanted to connect from a mobile station to a certain landline or a mobile station, we have base station controller and the network subsystem where we have this mobile switching center, which is being helpful, right? Which is being helpful. So this was just a comparison which was seen. So along with this analog cellular technology and digital cellular technology, we can continue. All right. So this was the cellular telephony where we saw how a particular phone can be initiated. That is, a call can be initiated from the landline phone to the mobile base station. Also, we saw the frequency reuse concept with respect to the frequency reuse factor, okay, and how the frequencies can be reused. Okay. Then we saw about the handoff, hard handoff and soft handoff. The better one is a soft handoff, which is the carried on. Then the roaming concept, where the different service providers can also provide the services, that is the extended services, when the single service provider or the original service provider is not able to provide. Then the hexagonal shape of that particular cell is also being considered. Okay. Thank you so much.